Lead Radio, your lifestyle radio.
This is the Sorority on Lead Radio 106.3, your lifestyle radio. And the music you just listened to was, of course, a very, very great song by Beyonce and Nicki Minaj titled Flawless. We feel flawless, but I think I need to set the record straight concerning my dislike of Ghanaian people. I think the comments may have just been taken out of context. Somebody just sent me a very, very nasty tweet, but I'm not going to promote your nastiness on radio. But yes, that was just a very, very light joke, and I didn't expect for y'all to take it seriously. I mean, come on, we're just having a light-hearted banter.
When it comes to Ghana, Nigeria, there's no light.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
If you talk about
Ghana,
rice, or talk about the color of their skin,
debates now. Can't you people just take a joke, please? No nastiness on my social media, or else I will hit the block button straight away. So thank you for putting unnecessary controversy around my dislike for Ghana people, except Chris Atto.
I hope your husband is listening.
Yes, he is actually, and he knows that I love Chris Atto.
Okay, nice.
No pun intended.
Okay.
So now let's go into the grapevine.
It's fine. Anyways, into the grapevine today we have two. So we'll just make a very quick stop. And plus, Boy reminded us of Olaya.
Yeah, the late actress.
Yes.
Very shocking. Very shocking. You know, when I got to work yesterday and I saw that she was trending, I thought it was her birthday. I remember that February we celebrated her birthday on the show, and pretty sad, you know. She's just 42, and knowing that she lost her brother like a year ago, she still has a father and a mother, you know, and she has another daughter who's 20 years old. Pretty sad, and it goes to show, you know, we talked about preeclampsia on the show a while ago. You know, it's important that we go for checkups every now and then. We don't just leave it to chance,
especially during pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think we've even seen women who have even suffered more. Someone was giving us a gist of a woman who went through very serious, very troubling postpartum depression stage after she had a child. Her husband did everything to bring her out of it. It didn't work, and we seem as if the problem didn't even end. It went on to get worse. It wasn't by the day, you know, and like we said before, I think there's never a good time to run a check and be close to your doctors and the hospital than when you're pregnant and just after childbirth. I think it's very imperative for the sake of the well-being of the mother and the child. So it's very important that we do this, and our prayers are with the late Olaya's family. Both her family of procreation and orientation, of course. Anyways, over to the grapevine, we are looking at, I think there's one story, an 18-year-old girl who was killed by a 23-year-old in Chicago, and the story had it that the 23-year-old killed her for having an affair with her baby daddy. You're not even married to the man, please. And then she hunted her down with a car, and she rammed into her and hit her several times with the car until she finally killed her. That's a heartless way to kill someone. You're 23, you're going to be going to jail for what? And the guy is going to move on,
just
and get someone else.
You're having your whole life ahead of you.
And your child.
Exactly. Now that the child has to deal with that kind of, you know, stigma attached to the mother being called,
and has to live without the mother, because the mother will be put away.
Definitely be put away. But you know, yeah, it just goes to show you the the level of mental degradation that has happened with people. And I know these kind of things used to happen a lot in the past, but now it's beginning to happen more. Where you were raising a point earlier, you know, when we were off air, of the fact that she didn't go after the baby daddy who was the one having the cheating scandal, but she had to go after the woman. And that's usually what happens in this kind of scenario, whereby you are in a relationship with a man and you discover that he's having an affair on the side, and then you begin to, you know, attack the woman repeatedly. You know, we've had cases of that, people posting chats on WhatsApp of a side chick being called out by the woman who is in the legitimate affair, of course. And I don't think it's supposed to be, because that person to in their own mind could maybe not even know of the relationship that you have with the person. And then this baby mama and baby daddy saga, first of all, like you mentioned, is not a marriage situation. In as much as yes, you guys have a child together, but I'm not sure that we can
have a child.
can be sure. I'm not sure
that
we can totally ascertain that they were actually in a stable relationship as at the time that this happened. So it could be delusion on the part of the baby mama thinking, oh, I have a child with this guy, it's definitely going to come back to me, nobody else can lay claim to him. I have him on lockdown. But that as well could also be a factor. But like you mentioned, it's a heinous crime that has been committed, and it is really
the law is going to come crashing on her.
Sorry thing to do. Very terrible.
I mean, you have a child, for the man doesn't mean that a child is not a marriage certificate. You guys didn't put pen to paper. So as far as he is concerned, as far as the world is concerned, he's still very single. Even
if he was within the context of marriage, it still doesn't water down what she did. It doesn't give you the right. For me, I wouldn't support her ramming the man against the tree and killing him, of course, but it would be more understandable if she had come for the man and not the woman. This is what we say about women and cat fights and all this. You know, there can only be one supreme woman at the top. You know, women should be much more understanding to the other. But of course, we are making these assertions because we don't really know what went down. Because we've had some of these side chicks turn really nasty on the person. Sometimes the side chicks, they themselves, they know.
That's I was going to call you back when you said, you know,
that they are a side chick, they are, you know, totally the third wheel in a legitimate relationship.
But in this case, we don't even know I don't think there's even this thing for us to even talk about the side chick here, because we can't say for sure that any one of them is a side chick. Only the guy can say who his main chick is and who his side chick is.
That's true.
You know, because he's not married to any of them.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, you know, those kind of scenarios can also happen where you have somebody, okay, for instance, I'm in a legitimate relationship with, say, Wale, and he's having another relationship with somebody else, and then okay,
the person also feels she is in a legitimate relationship with one.
Out of my stupidity, I now begin to call out the girl, and then the girl begins to clap back at me saying, oh, why don't you tie his pili to your wrapper, and all those kind of funny statements. You know, it could really feel, you know, my own rage and say and get that person tipped over the edge.
But it takes virtue for you to know that, just as you're saying you're in a legitimate relationship, how are you sure that Wale did not tell her that they are both in a legitimate relationship?
That's sure.
But when there's a marriage to it, do you understand? Then it makes it easier for you to now say, okay, I am legally married to this person, so I have some certain kind of rights and boundaries that I don't think anybody should cross.
No, sometimes it's not just marriage. Just to be fair, it's not just marriage that confers legitimacy.
That's what I'm saying. So who says?
I mean, I need your thoughts on this. If you are in a relationship, maybe you've been in a relationship with a guy for like 2-3 years, surely that should count for something. You should feel like some sense of security. So that's why it even breaks your heart the more, hurts you the more, when you find out suddenly that, hey, you're not the only one.
That's what I'm saying. It will hurt you, but don't go after the girl because you don't know what arrangements he has with the girl.
I know that, but I'm saying that sometimes the argument or the level of insensitivity on the part of the other woman could also tip a person over the edge. I'm just saying.
Anyways, and then the next one is I think for some time now, Mercy Ayibe, she has hugged the internet very tight. Not for her usual slay, you know, we call her the slay queen. No, not for being a slayer this time, but for some punches that were sent down the wrong places, and then, you know, we had some some swelling, the places where we're not supposed to see that, and that sent somebody to Kirikiri prison for like 7 days. You know, he said that the 7 days seemed like a lifetime I mean, incarceration, nobody prays for that. You're restricted from so many things that you're used to doing, you know. So, and he was supposed to even be released days into when he was arrested, but that didn't happen because the magistrates had a conference, so that kept him on for 7 days until he was finally released, and now he is becoming a writer. Pretty much everybody in Nigeria has become a writer these days. I think I'm going to write a book.
Everybody wants to.
What would be the title of
How
the
to
book?
exonerate the Moses of our time. I've always wanted to write a book on that.
I'm not understanding you.
Which Moses? Which Moses of our time?
I would say that because she's going to accuse
I
me of
think you are
being.
too complicated for Nigerian radio. You need to be in the. Please, explain. Speak English. Please.
No, seriously, that's
How
what.
to exonerate. Who is the most?
Most of our
I'm
time.
not going
I
to
wonder.
say it because Fumi is
I
going
know
to
the
come.
person.
Who's taking
knows-
us to the promised
she knows-
land?
she knows
Except that the
the
person won't get to the promised
Okay.
She
land.
knows the person.
I know the person. This girl. Don't
Let's
worry.
Okay, now I know.
let's not touch
Yes,
it.
yes, we come
Because
after you.
something is happening now and that's saying some people are having something and something and something. So it doesn't look
Shebi, you
like
listen to the news
you
review
know,
this morning.
yes,
You are
I
allowed
follow
the
the
SS
news,
to
so
come.
it's fine.
I think you should change the title because
No,
Moses didn't get
exonerated-
to the promised land.
Yeah, he didn't get it. This
So this same person might not get to the
no, he
promised
didn't
He
get it.
didn't even get to the
already.
promised
He
land
didn't
though.
get to the promised land.
But she's
But
still
it's
trying to
fine.
exonerate him.
And if you were just thinking, I was thinking about my pastor, so that's the Moses I'm talking about.
The Bible says don't lie against the man of God. You take your past out of this. Say somebody, talk about somebody else. Talking about Larry Gentry. It baffles me that he was unable to make bail. Like the first when they passed the judgment, when they asked.
Why does it baffle you though?
It's, in my own mind, it's Larry Gentry
man of
of
his caliber,
caliber, you know,
yeah.
and that's the picture we see on Instagram.
Mercy
Fantastic
also.
husband, beautiful, rich and everything,
Yeah.
and he has friends. I thought that it should be 500,000 naira bail, and he couldn't make it. That's why he had to be remanded in prison.
No, you know, there would
No, there
also
were
be some other
shorties
conditions
too.
that
Away from the
would,
bail
take
fee,
him from.
there would also be shorties that you have to pay.
Yes,
for that.
one of the conditions, people who had houses in areas like Ikeja, I think Ipaja area. They are not. It wasn't like it was an impossible task to you know. It wasn't a top of like it wasn't what's his name now? What's that Masop guy now?
We're not going to do
What's
that.
his name again?
No, I remember his name.
What's his name? Nnamdi Kanu, yes.
It's actually of IPOP, by the way.
No, we're not looking at things like that.
Okay.
Like they are just very easy to meet conditions.
Yeah, but sometimes you can be in that situation and people don't necessarily want to associate with you. We'll talk about the victimization that comes with, you know, perpetrators of domestic violence later. But I just think he sounded a bit cocky with his statement that he wants to write a book now.
And he also, rather than addressing domestic violence, the issue on ground, it became a motivational speaker talking about the plight of the prison reforms. Government should rather than focus on domestic violence issues, they should focus on the
He actually said that part, and
yes.
that's where I have a problem. Anyways, I think we should this so that we don't just get into the hot topic. Let's go on a very quick breather, and this breather now will be us hearing the next voice we're going to hear of someone who has become a professor professor on domestic violence. So we'll hear her she's going to take us through a lecture. She's going to tell us how that works, and then when we'll come back, we'll take it up from there. Keep it locked, it's still Lead Radio 106.3.
LR 106, your lifestyle radio.
Anyways, you're welcome from that very quick bit that we just said. That what will bring us back is we'll come back after we listen to Professor Empress Njama. So that was the voice of Professor Empress Njama.
Oh, I see.
Taking us through lectures on domestic violence and what's not.
I hope I understand sarcasm. Is that sarcasm by calling a professor?
She was okay. Yes. Of course.
Okay, all right. I needed to understand
Of course,
that part.
Yeah, she has made herself a professor in talking about something, and she made it clear when she said she's not married, so she doesn't understand. You know, I wonder. I noted two things from what she said. She said, when a woman hits a man, what is it called? The Empress Njama, when a woman hits a man, yes, when a woman hits a man, is actually called domestic violence as well. And then she also said he has how about when the man has experienced a lot growing up? If you have experienced a lot growing up, then you seek help, please. We were having this conversation before we came on the air, and I refuse to agree that there is a ground, any ground at all, on which anybody would hit another person. There's no excuse for it. You growing up, you experienced this firsthand. Yes, psychologists have come out to tell us that there are two extremes to the repercussion of what people would get if they grew up in a very violent home. It's either you abhor it completely and abstain and don't do it at all. You don't ever get to hit someone. You become a bit introverted and to yourself, or you take to the extreme where you become the exact same replica of what you have hated growing up. So we've seen this happen so many times. This is not the first time. Tondodike, we also had this issue with Tondodike and her marriage a couple of months ago, where she also hugged the media very tight. And then at the end of the day, we heard that all of the gifts I used to show on social media, they were actually not from him. I just was doing it so everybody would think everything was all right. But really, it wasn't all right.
All right, I'd like to also ask a question. The question generated so much controversy yesterday in the studio, off air. There was a tweet that made the rounds, and the tweet is when a wife says no to domestic violence, but she beats her house help, and she doesn't want her husband to beat her. So the question is, beating your house help and your husband beating you, would you say, does that equate to domestic violence as well?
I think we just said that. We said that on no grounds should anybody beat up another human. There could be ways, and for somebody who's saying
no
that
ground at all.
Somebody, if the person is your house help, no,
yes, if I can beat my child.
We have disciplinary measures.
Yes.
But like we said before, I think we've treated that on Sorority. We could be treating it sometime later, so we can probably draw the lines between discipline and abuse. There's a line between discipline and abuse. If you're going to beat a child to discipline the person, it's okay. We've seen that happen. Parents do that, but we've seen where maybe a woman would go out of her way, lock up a housemaid, don't give the person food. That is you abusing that person. Now that's not discipline. I don't understand how you're disciplining a person by torturing them.
Let me just step in here. I think, it's very important to draw these lines, but it just comes to the patriarchal society that we have. The person who originated that tweet was coming from the mindset, or maybe whether the person knows that or not, or the mindset of the fact that yes, a wife is supposed to be, subservient. There's a difference, and somebody could come at me and say, okay, yes, the Bible says women should submit to their husbands. It doesn't mean that you have to be subservient to him.
Not a serf-lord relationship.
If I as a mother, the queen of my household, have a house help that probably is young in age, and I need to put right on different matters. Maybe she's going the wrong way, and I need to correct her. I could beat her, but of course out of wanting to discipline her and chastise her into correction.
Because you can also beat your child.
Because I can also beat my child, and to a very large extent, my house help could also be seen as my child, and I wouldn't want her or him to go astray because they are under my watch as a parent. So you cannot, it's not the same thing. And that's where I fault that tweet, because the relationship between a husband and a wife is different from
the relationship between an employee and an employer.
Absolutely. In this case, maybe somebody that you're probably sending to school. I mean, if my house help that I'm sending to school comes home with a result that I'm not satisfied with, even though some people would advocate for talks
some
form of advice and here and there, I could reprimand the person if I know that you've not been paying attention, proper attention in school. Yes. That could be grounds for disciplinary measures. But my husband, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not there for my husband to discipline, and I should not be, the outlet for whatever it is that he has gone through, whether in his childhood or in the course of his adult life before we, came together as man and wife.
Why can't he beat his fellow man if he wants to, as an outlet? Why must he beat his wife?
She mentioned something. She even said that in the part, what if you drive him crazy, you drive him to a point where he becomes angry?
Hit the wall.
Growing up, you had sisters, you had girls around you, even in class, even in school. I don't think you went around beating up your sisters every now and then because they did something wrong to you. Even when you guys were adults, you didn't go around beating your sisters. You took it from them, and just you hear so many guys say several times, she's just being a woman, and then you get married to someone else's daughter, and you feel you're going to. I think that's the one part that you see, that line can't be crossed at all. You don't raise your hand on me or any woman that is affiliated to me that I think I should take actions or that I will not.
I can see you going to fight back.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed.
I can see you.
Please.
Show me the place. Show me the man.
Please, if it's my sister, show me the man. I can't wait to see him because I want to see you. And
so what would you do in that case?
Until it happens, until I see him.
No, so that we know if it's going to be another case of domestic violence.
There's a better way to channel that are appropriate quarters.
It's wild violence, not domestic violence.
Yeah, just another thing that, because I like to deal with society issues a lot, and correcting different mindsets, wrong mindsets that we've allowed to grow with us over time is one of the reasons why I am still in the radio business. Another thing that has grown with us over time is because we've made it okay for us to lash out at people physically, maybe when some lines are crossed. For instance, I read an article the other day online about a man who said that his wife was always constantly abusing his mother, like calling her a witch, saying that she was responsible for the bad things that have been happening in their marriage. And this was always the grouse that the man had against the woman for saying, okay, the line has been crossed. And over time, society has always made it seem like, oh, once somebody abuses your mother, it's okay to hit them. That's a wrong impression that we've carried with ourselves so far so good. We have been a people that have over time condoned violence, whether in the streets, even outside of the homes, but yes, the spotlight is being shown on domestic violence now, but there are different other forms of violence that go around in our society that we tend to look away from, which is what even fans the embers of the violence within the household. So sometimes when somebody is outside and you now respond by giving the person a punch or two, it's wrong. We should condemn that in as much as we go further to condemn domestic violence within marriages, of course.
And also you were also talking about there was a part where you were talking about maybe someone insults your mother or in marriage now. In marriage now, I think if that happens, one thing I've come to understand, I'm not married myself, but looking at people who are married over time and having friends who are married, it will seem as if married couples don't find time to talk. I think people should learn or cultivate the habit of talking. So even after we get it gets very heated, tempers are flared, and at the end of the day when we all calm down, we could find time to talk. This is what you did that I did not like. This is what I did that you did not like. Maybe we should start even encouraging shrinks in Nigeria.
Yeah,
there are shrinks in Nigeria.
Just
people don't really use them. That's what I'm saying. So we should encourage people to seek help when if it boils down to a point where off air we were having this conversation where we talked about sometimes the person doesn't really know. It happens repeatedly before the person will find out. For Lamrena, then I told you I used because I'm sorry we're using them because I think they are the most popular one now that's on, and Mesayibe, a figure as her with such pedigree in the Nigerian entertainment industry. So it's always this thing that people would. When they talk about domestic violence at this point, they want to talk about her, talk about Ndudike and what has transpired in their marriages, different marriages. I think at some point you might have seen some things growing up, but you don't lash it out on your wife. Like you said, your wife is not there for you to take out any form of annoyance or anger.
Choma, where I was coming from when I was making that argument, of course, for people not necessarily demonizing perpetrators of domestic violence. Sometimes, there's this statement, hurt people hurt people. If you've been hurt, it's not just about, you saw your father eating your mother and therefore you've been in that circumstance where you're replaying or you're a direct replica of what you've seen over time. Sometimes these people have been victims themselves, victims of domestic violence. Somebody that the parents just didn't know how to draw the line between discipline and abuse. So they feel that it's not even a feeling. That thing just takes a hold of them, and then even though they've grown up, they've sworn never to be in that position where they are even remotely thinking or contemplating about hitting their wives. They just see them replaying that stuff. I'm not condoning the action in any way, but I'm just saying going forward, we have a tendency to stigmatize people a lot in Nigeria. Larry Gentry has beaten up his wife, so that means there cannot be anything good in him. He's a demon, he's a devil, he's a demon. He has to be, completely ostracized from society. Sometimes we need to look towards the angle of these people being victims themselves. And the article that I read online, and it was a guy apparently that wrote this article. He said he had been married for about 15 years, and for the first 8 years of his marriage, he was of course constantly beating his wife because she was very, very abusive, or of course verbally, because women, how we like to run our mouths a lot. And she was always getting the end of the stick. He would beat her up. Of course, he would stage all the drama, beg all her family members, beg all her friends, and then she would come back. And then he went on like that for about 8 years. But the reason the man was writing that was because within those 8 years, now he's been married for 15 years now, so obviously they found a way to work through it. Within those 8 years, he was completely ostracized from society. His friends left him, everybody left him. He was demonized. In fact, he went through torrents of emotional torture because he was a perpetrator of domestic violence. But at a point in the marriage, where I'm coming, at a point in the marriage, he decided to seek help. Of course, because of all the extra things that he had to be going through, some of his wife's family members also decided to excommunicate him completely. But when he was able to sit down with his wife and they were able to talk, like you mentioned, and he also sought help for his psychological issues, because sometimes when you have these issues, you don't even know until they begin to play out in your life, because marriage tends to amplify things for people. You can go through your entire childhood and teenage life and even post-university years thinking, I would never cheat on my wife, it would not even happen. But when you find yourself in a marriage, you just suddenly find yourself doing it, and you don't even know where it came from. It will take a lot for you to identify that this thing has become a problem. I need to seek help. It's not just about me.
How much lots are we looking at here? It happens one time, twice.
For
how
me,
many more?
I would like to disagree with you that here in Nigeria we ostracize and stigmatize perpetrators of domestic violence. I totally disagree. Maybe now, before now, a man beats his wife is yes. Yeah, they hail you. Your friends hail you.
Go back. That's not even.
Yeah, so I don't think that. Here in Nigeria, when a man beats his wife, it's like you're
no,
like.
But
I think now, but we need to do more. We need to do more.
Do more to ostracize.
Not ostracize, to
demonize the person.
Not demonize, but do more. Do more to make sure that the person doesn't repeat that act again. Because a man beats his wife is nothing before now. But thanks to social media, now you can even address the person's complaint. Like there was a case of a woman, the husband went to her house, ran his car over, used the banker. Yes, and thanks to social media and advocates on social media and other platforms, he lost his job. If things like that, yes, he lost his job. Yes, we can seek help for them, but what happens when it's a continuous act?
And don't forget also, this thing continues to a point where some people who have been involved in domestic violence, they keep quiet. They die at the end of the day.
Messi Aigbe, for example, released a video sometimes last year, some years ago, when the news broke on a particular blog that she was a victim of domestic violence. They had a very lovely video, like picture perfect couple, in their house, their dining table, everything. We love each other. It's the love of my life.
We are all good.
We're all good, So I think that we can do more. Maybe not in demonizing them, but of course speaking out about it.
I don't know. What do you mean? I think it's demonizing here. Can we say it's relative? What do you mean by demonizing?
Coming out to say, this person. I think it's really a mindset of, this person has done one bad thing, or maybe done the bad thing repeatedly, and that doesn't necessarily mean that he's a bad person. There's nothing good can come out of him.
No, that's what you mean. We have men that are pastors. They go to on the pulpit, they preach, and yes, the Bansi goes back home and beats his wife. We need to demonize that person.
Why?
Yes, you can't come and.
What does she mean by demonizing?
Like make him feel like he's a demon already. He's a demon.
Why you trash it? I asked you. I just asked you a question.
He's a demon.
What do you mean by demonizing? Are you saying that the fact it shouldn't be talked about?
I'm not saying.
So
Of course,
you said when it happens one time. You said when it happens 1-2 times, it doesn't mean that we should now. So what should we do? What should we do with
what
this?
I'm saying, we don't have to do it because we are not magistrates court or any family court. What we should be doing is talking about the issues, the things that happen within marriages that lead to cases of domestic violence like this. I'm not a supporter of domestic violence because before I get another nasty tweet on the program today, I'm not a supporter. I don't condone it in any way. I would even advocate for the woman to leave, but don't just leave like that and let that be the end of it.
What do you do? It's staying or die. See, the case we talked about a while ago. The man just beats her because she served cold food. He beats her just because she's alive.
The eggs properly didn't.
He beats her because she's breathing.
Boy, wait.
And you said don't demonize him.
He's a demon.
And then wait, you said don't demonize him. Don't live like that. So what do you do?
You pray. You go to church and pray. You fast for him.
Can you people calm down?
All right.
I'm saying this is a marriage, okay? I'm actually advocating. Yes, a lot of women have lost their lives. I've seen domestic violence firsthand. Okay. So I'm not in support of it in any way, but I'm saying in as much as yes we condemn the act, sometimes it doesn't just help for you to say okay, leave the marriage and that is the end of it, because these things will keep on happening if we don't deal like I said, if you don't deal with the root cause of it, which is sometimes the perpetrators of domestic violence are victims themselves.
Not that I heard what you said.
Let his mother go and deal with it.
Not that I heard what you said. But see, for me, maybe not leave the marriage completely. Something called separation. There's something called hold on. Let me talk. There's something called separation. Maybe not divorce. But let's stay apart. Do you understand? You get to sit down
Get your house together
so you don't kill me in the process.
You are getting it wrong. I'm not saying it's the woman that should go and look for help. Society, just like we are trying to help the woman out by advising her, hey, if your man is beating you, leave. And I'm an advocate of that. Make no mistake about it.
Okay.
But let's also try to help the men too, who themselves could be victims.
So what's the help you?
If you are demonizing somebody, the person could just commit suicide. My wife has left me.
And I'm sorry, I'm still in the dark of what you mean by demonizing.
We could help them by taking them through therapy. We could help them by getting them shrinks like you recommended at the beginning of the program, trying to talk them.
What if the person isn't willing to go
and seeing the fact that
what if the person isn't willing to take that step?
Are we taking that step first?
Yes. Women, no. We have women who have prayed, who have fasted, women who have also agreed to go to therapy with their husbands. And the guy will go to therapy, a few days later he's back to his former self.
Oh my God.
What will such a woman do?
The way you guys are coming at me now, you're making it seem as if I am saying instead of her leaving, she should do all these things.
Okay.
Listen to me
the first time she says, oh my God, it's a fine place to live, is why we'll take a music break.
Okay. So that we
come back. I think everybody should join this conversation. Let's know. You should chill. What's your thoughts on this? Please, at LeadRadio1063 on Twitter, and the studio line is 0805 5101631. Again, 0805 5101631. And then on WhatsApp you can reach us on 0905 7692791. WhatsApp number again is 0905 7692791. It's Radio 106.3. We'll go on a very quick music break where we'll get to listen to Sierra, I Bet.
Lead Radio, your lifestyle radio.
Hello, it's still 106.3 Lifestyle Radio, and this is still the Sorority. We've had a very heated time in the studio today discussing domestic violence. From listening to Empress Jama and her view, so many people have also come out to say I'm against domestic violence, and people have had different views. But the good thing is that at the end of the day, we all are saying that we are against domestic violence. It's just maybe the ways through which we decide to travel to an endpoint is where we would differ. But it's fine. And if you're at home and you're listening, I think so. For me, what happens now? For women who are in abusive, I think we're also talking off the air. I think the listeners should know that it's not just when someone gets physical. that it's called an abuse. People can verbally abuse people. They can verbally tear you down mentally, and otherwise. So you hear some mental woman, if I didn't pick you up, if not for me, would you have a life? It's because of me, it's me you do. So the person is even confused. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's looking like I owe you my everything. I don't know if, okay, please, can I go to the bathroom and ease myself? Please, can I stand? Please, can I sit? I'm confused. I don't know which way to go. So for me, we're running out of time. I think I want to get.
You want to get clarification, which you didn't
on
allow
demonizing.
On
demonizing and so many other things that how society will go about helping
them. Before we went on the music break.
Yes, ma'am.
If I'm talking from this standpoint, I've seen a lot of cases. I've experienced domestic violence. First, I've not been a victim, but I've seen how these issues play out. If we focus on just telling the woman leave the marriage, we are not solving the problem. I am totally for saying no to domestic violence in whatever form it's perpetrated. No? I'm saying no now. That I'm just saying no. That's not enough. It's enough.
You don't just say no. You don't go and tell the man, okay, today I'm saying no to domestic violence. I'm saying
no. Not as a woman. Now as a member of society, we all say no.
We're talking about people who are in it.
And I'm supportive of effecting legislation to prescribe adequate punishment for people who perpetrate domestic violence.
Okay.
And for me now, where I am coming from, and I'm not erasing your own views that yes, there are men who just want to beat their wives just to assert authority. There are those people. But from my own research and from my own experience so far on this matter, I think that those kind of men are in the minority, honestly speaking.
Okay.
And going forward, the solution that would effectively deal with cases of domestic violence is a 2 or even 3-part thing. First, yes, the woman should remove herself from the situation.
Okay.
That would be the first step.
Okay.
But we should not go to the extreme of, oh, this man is totally a demon. Then we could get negotiators, psychologists, people who can work with the couple, because this man that I mentioned previously before we went on air, he actually sat down with his wife and also a middleman, a negotiator, a psychologist who could help to address even the woman's issues too. The fact that she's an abusive person herself, but the man of course couldn't prove it. The only way he could do it, because of issues that he had, fine, it's a personal thing. The fact that you are a perpetrator of domestic violence is a personal thing. You should deal with your issues. But sometimes these people are also victims. That is just the still small voice that I want to leave out there today. Victims of emotional abuse that we can never prove. Nobody is going to come out and say, oh, my wife has been, the man in fact is totally a nobody. He can't function well, he can't even think properly, he has become a footmat in the household.
A man just came out on Twitter saying that his wife beats him all the time, and he says, take the manhood and give me height. That's what the man said. So it's not like nobody can come out and say my wife beats me.
No, it's not about I'm talking about emotional and verbal abuse. Now. People can't prove that. And with the system that we run here, everybody is always advocating for, oh, you are a man, you can't cry about it, you can't say anything.
And
your wife calls you a failure or a useless person. You come back useless. You like one very funny video that we used to see on social media. The mechanic.
I go out useless, I come back useless.
You come back useless. All those things will play on the man's psyche.
Yes.
And that's why I'm saying the second part of the solution to domestic violence.
You said something here. You said that the fact that someone insults your mother on the road, for me, I think you heard that. The fact that someone insulted your mother doesn't mean that you should go and hit the person.
Yes.
Are you trying to talk about that in isolation of a couple's relationship? So if the woman insults your mother, you should go and hit her.
What I said at the beginning of this, you are isolating my words. I already said there is no excuse for domestic violence, but I am saying that the solution should be a 2-part thing. It should not just be advocating woman. If your husband is beating you, go away and you leave the man, because as a victim and as experience has shown, that abuse will one way or the other repeat itself. It's either the man gets married to another woman that is going to beat up again, or the woman who has been abusing the man verbally and emotionally and psychologically will get married to another person that she will continue to abuse. That person may not hit her, maybe he didn't have the same issues that her previous husband had, but she would end up turning that man into a useless person, a nobody that cannot be relevant to society in any way. So who is going to help that person?
Okay, fine. Why would we look for who will help the person? Boye, what are your last words?
Since she said we should not demonize, we see this perpetrator of domestic violence.
They could also be
we still call them angels after doing all
I'm not saying
so
we
we're
should
not
call them
demonizing.
angels.
Their wives will call them angels, honey and sweetheart.
You know, to come out and host G-Wagons
I won't take this. You guys are making light of my argument. Even if you don't see my standpoint, don't try to water it down.
Okay, fine.
You cannot say the wife should call him an
because
angel.
she does.
No.
She does call him an angel.
That's what happens. That's the woman's prerogative. If you want to make it look just like what happened in Messi Aigbe and Tonto Dike's case, your husband is beating you at home, is not, and you want to show to the world, it's the celebrity that is entering their brain.
Not only celebrities, we have other regular woman on the street.
When they tell you that
you feel like
marriage, this things happen with other people, you shouldn't go and wash your dirty
your marriage is now show business. You have to show the world that
we're saying not even just
the regular woman on the street, the regular woman
that's what even the regular woman in the street, you want to show. Is it not show that you are showing that everything is perfect in my marriage?
Okay.
When it is not, you are showing that.
Okay, I get that.
It's a problem on the part of the woman. I'm not saying show the world that nothing is happening. In fact, more than ever before, let the world know.
Okay.
Let the world know. Nobody should keep quiet about domestic violence. That is
for me. Domestic violence is real, whether it's emotional or physical. It is real. We must join our hands together and join our voices and talk about it. And I think it's also important that when you see your neighbor. We live in a society where now I don't care what happens to my neighbor. When you see your neighbor is a victim, if your neighbor is a victim of domestic violence, I think that's where society can come in. You can report to the nearest police station, report to people, take the woman out or take the man out in the case where some women have started beating their husbands, Whether it's
take the abuse out.
Whether the woman is the victim or the man is the victim, we must rise up and say no to domestic violence.
Fine. I think that's very well said. Everybody will put hands together. In fact, that's the reason why we brought it on the show today to talk about it, lend our voice to it and say no completely to domestic violence. And we wish that anybody who at this time in any relationship whatsoever, whether it's verbal, whether it's physical, I think you should speak up. It's either you leave, or most of the time people don't leave, and at the end of the day they don't stay to tell the stories. So we hope that everybody who is going through domestic violence today gets the courage to be able to speak up about it and then find possibly a solution to end it. To have a wonderful day. This is where we'll wrap it up on the Sorority back here on Leader 106.3 until come away next week by 3 p.m. And by the way, we have decided to review Olarotimi's work, The Gods Are Not to Blame. So yes, you should join us on the last Friday of May when we would review Olarotimi's work. The title of that work is The Gods Are Not to Blame. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. For me, here's bye-bye. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at official Uri, official URE. Boy.
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at official boy. Why are you officialing on my official?
I official first.
Why are you officialing my
official first?
I hope you're not official for me.
I'm not official. I'm just the first. The Fumi Eniola on Twitter and Instagram.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of your weekend, people.
Lead Radio, your lifestyle radio.